Hello, people. Welcome back to another episode of The Final Third. I'm very, very honoured to be joined by two guests today. One's called EMIL and one called Daniel. Would you like to introduce yourself?
All right. Yeah. So I'm Daniel. EMIL, your turn.
I'm EMIL from Manchester. Kicked ball for a while now, but out of the game for a bit now. So we're here today.
Here today.
Let's go.
Thank you both of you for coming on today. Yeah, we spoke about it before, but yeah, how's lockdown been treating everyone?
Shambolic. If I remove my hat right now, my hair's looking mad. But I've just been chilling.
Young black boys and their barbers, they need to be reconnected, man. We need to be reconnected.
Bro, it's essential. It's really essential.
Essential, fam. So let's jump straight into it. First of all, I know this isn't really to do with football, but this is the third anniversary of the Grenfell disaster. I just wanted to say justice for Grenfell. The real numbers still haven't come out. They tell us 72 people died, but we're not believing that.
It's not possible.
People still haven't been rehoused. This is nothing to do with football, but on the third anniversary, it just feels right. Like we have to keep Grenfell in our mouths, keep Grenfell in the atmosphere, because these people still haven't seen justice for what was a government-led atrocity. So I just wanted to start off with that. But getting on to something lighter, you two, both excellent footballers. Tell me how you first knew that, okay, I'm actually good at football or better than the people I'm around.
Dan, you want to go first?
No, I will. You'll take.
For me, it was so I got into football. My brother was playing a lot, and I joined the team that he was playing for, just a local team, Sunday League team, and I was, enjoying it, growing into the game, and more coaches were saying he's got a bit about him. And obviously, as black players, we're blessed with a bit more pace, a bit more strength than our white counterparts. So I think I was kind of using that to my best ability.
So
go to tournament.
At that age, you was already a bit more physically advanced than some of the people in your age group.
Yeah, I think so. Just a bit faster. Not so much stronger, I'd say. Maybe a little bit, actually, because I was actually quite a bit chubby when I was younger, 7, 8. Yeah, 7, 8 was a bit chubbier. And then obviously, as we grew into it, under 13s and stuff was when I got into scouts were coming and watching me and giving me feedback and stuff. And then that's kind of how I decided I want to give it a full shot. This is actually what I love doing. I was never not into school, but school, it was just do what I can do the subjects that I'm good at to the best of my ability. But football was what drove me, what gave me a lot of heart, a lot of passion. So I was let me put my all in it.
I hear it. Daniel, do you want to go through?
I had an older cousin. He's about 4 or 5 years older than me, and he was going to the Saturday once a week. I don't know what to call it. It was like a camp basically. Yeah. And then my dad was taking him, and then he took me. I was 6 or 7, and then the guy was why is he here? Basically, he needs to start playing in the proper team.
Okay, so your one was a lot earlier. Your one was around 6 or 7 when you realised he was better than the people he was around. Yeah,
and then went Sunday League, and then at 7, I think I went to Watford development camp or training camp or whatever, and I was right-footed at the time, and the guy was telling me now, you need to work on your left foot. So after that, went back home, was working on my left foot. I'm left-footed now. So obviously,
you're lying.
If I was right-footed, then
Usman Dembele in the building, cuz. That's a crazy story.
Whole thing would have been different if I was right-footed, because my right foot is stiff. Went to Sunday League, and then scouts came coming because I was the only black kid in my team. And then scouts came coming, and I went to Fulham. Like, it was affiliated with Fulham Academy, and I went on trial at Fulham when I was like 9-ish for like 8 weeks. They told me I was too quiet, so then went back to Sunday League, just scoring goals, and then
Wait, so
switched teams because
and on that a little bit more. So, you was on trial at Fulham, and they basically didn't like admit you through, or they didn't accept you through the trial because of the fact that you didn't speak up on the pitch enough, or what was
like, just in general. Like, I'd say still today, I'm quiet when it comes to football, but at Fulham I just didn't speak. I didn't speak to anyone. I was just a shy kid, and then I wouldn't speak on the pitch. And I don't know how I was playing because I can't really remember. But yeah, they didn't let me through. And then went back to Sunday League, changed teams because the other team that I went to was better, more better players and more culturally. Like, there was more. It was not just white. It was
a bit further along. Yeah, a bit further along.
Yeah.
And then we had a good team, and then around like 13, 14, Reading came, and then signed from Reading from there.
Okay, so first of all, I just want you to tell the people, what positions did you play, or what positions do you currently play?
I was a striker back then, bagsman, scoring goals from left, right, and centre. And then just went onto the wing, so winger/striker.
Winger/striker, and EMIL?
Yeah, I was originally, when I was younger, I was centre mid. And touching on what Dan was saying, like, I went to Blackburn when I was younger. I went on trial there, and like I wasn't too like energetic. I was more like do my thing on the ball, and then off the ball, I wasn't really like moving much and stuff like that. So they picked up on that and told me like, so I had the 6-week trial period, and then they were like, off the ball movement needs work, blah blah blah. So them little things was like still off of my game, but it was just like I was playing for enjoyment, and I wasn't really thinking like, oh, I need to do this off the ball, I need to do that off the ball. So yeah.
So at that point, you would say that it was more still, you were still trying to learn the game. You didn't really think off the ball that was really important, as long as what you was doing was on the ball was still correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But kind of, it's a big part of the game, and I came to realize that. But then I moved from like centre mid to being a winger when I was at Oldham. I was a winger for time, and then when I went over to America, I moved to right back.
Okay. So you both kind of touched on it a little bit already, but tell me about your first experience, like getting scouted by like a professional football club. What was that experience like? You talk about scouts coming to you, giving you development. What was it like? And what was your first experience doing it? Being scouted.
It was nerve-wracking, to be fair. Like, for me, when I was like the first time when I was on trial for them, it was just nerve-wracking. I never been in that environment, but it was a good experience, and then it kind of shaped me to be able to go to Reading again, and then actually know what I needed to work on. So I was just more vocal, more present in a way.
Okay.
But it was a good experience, I think.
Yeah, similar to me as well. Like when I went to Blackburn, it was quite a bit of pressure, because, and another thing that added to that pressure was like my family. My dad was taking me, and it was like 1 hour and a half, and it was like a long drive there, drive back, and then when I got there, it was like, like I was around a lot better players than I was playing with. So the players that I was playing with at my little local team was like, average, decent players, and I was trying to make them better. Whereas when I was going to Blackburn, I was like around these players who were like, technically a lot better than what I'm used to, stronger, more physical, a lot more mouthy. So it was kind of intimidating, but at the same time, I was kind of like, let me just worry about myself and do my thing. Like, I don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing. They've had their experience, so just do what you can and what you can control.
Yeah, that's crazy. It literally leads me on to my next question, like adapting to the professional game, as in how, like you've already said, it was a bit more difficult, like stepping up in terms of level. The players now aren't below you; they're more on your level and above. How was it stepping up to that level?
For me, it was tough. It was like, I've got to do more now. Like when I was when I was playing in my Sunday league team, it was like everyone was kind of looking at me for answers on the pitch. But then now it's like, you know, all these players around me are, you know, higher level, and I've got to do something to shine, but, you know, they're shining as well. So I've got to go that next level further to shine. But I kind of it was a time thing, really. I think as I got used to the coaches, and when I was at Oldham was my big learning curve, I'd say, where I'd kind of got into a place where mentally I was stronger, and I was like, okay, these coaches are giving it to me, but I'm going to give it back. So like, if they're shouting at me to do whatnot and do this, then I'm going to make sure I do it, and do it with aggression. So like, they're impressed with me. So it took some time to get used to that, but as you kind of adjust to the level and the playing style of the team as well, that helps, because, you know, when you're a bit younger and you're playing for your local team, you're kind of running the show. But now you got to think about other players that kind of, they want to run the show as well. But you also got to be, you know, make a name for yourself and do what you can in your spaces and where you're good at.
Daniel?
Yeah, for me, it was tough because I wasn't on their level technically, but I made up for that in other areas. So it was,
what sort of areas?
It was good playing with better players. Like my finishing, like I was still scoring goals when I went there.
Yeah.
So that made up for like what I missed in like a first touch or like a long range pass or something. So that over time I worked on it, but I still was kind of behind when I went, because I'm playing with, they were still good players, but they weren't on that level. So I had to bring myself up to be at least equal to the academy players. So it was a big change.
All right. So EMIL, your journey was Blackburn, then Oldham. What happened next?
So it was Blackburn and Oldham. Actually, before that, I had a little stint at Stockport. Stockport County is another team, but they didn't take me on again for the off the ball movement shit, and that kind of broke my heart. I remember I was thinking like, right, if I've been on trial at Blackburn and not been successful, but you know, they're giving me good feedback in terms of like what I can do on the ball, then obviously if I go to a lesser team, then I'm gonna get on. So I remember when they said no, and that hurt me a lot. I was like, right. I remember like driving home and crying in the car and thinking like, what's wrong with me? But I think that spurred me on to go on to Oldham and do well, like to be more confident and do my thing. And then when I'm off the ball, like make sure that I'm being a bit more sharp and stuff like that. Because you know, if I didn't get another chance after Oldham, then I wasn't sure about, you know, if I was going to get another team or if I was going to get a scholar, stuff like that. So I got my scholar at Oldham. And then
could you run that back? The connection just broke up quickly.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Cool. So I went and did my scholar at Oldham. My first year wasn't too good. I was lacking confidence and couldn't really adjust to it was super physical, and I don't know, I was a bit lack of confidence, really. That was the main thing which hit me. And then the coach as well was a bit of a tough coach, so I had to adjust to that and kind of went into my shell a bit. My second year started off really well, and then I had a bad knee injury. I tore my meniscus, and then didn't get a pro. So then I went out to America, where I met Dan. And yeah, I had 4 years at a D2 school in America called Lenore Ryan. Yeah.
So Daniel, before we get onto the American, because I want to take that onto a separate one. Daniel, what was your journey after leaving Fulham?
So back to Sunday League and then Reading from under 15s till under 18. So I got my scholar in under 16s. It's kind of early, I'd say. But I was playing striker at the time when I was under 16, scoring goals, whatever. And then Reading being a Category 1 academy, they had money, so they were buying players from up north and here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So when I went into my scholar, I was no longer a striker. and then they're obviously going to play the players that they pay money for.
Yeah.
So pushed back to left wing, and then there's just the competition was crazy. Then they pushed me back to left back in my first year, and then I just.
Did you feel, because obviously left back's not your natural position, did you feel like there was anything you could do to try and convince the coach, I'm not really a left back, I need to be playing in a position where I feel I can shine?
In my first year, I was kind of defeated, because how can I go from being up top, the starting striker in under 16s or whatever, and then I'm getting pushed further back to left back just because I'm left footed and quick. That it was demoralizing for me. So I tried to do the best I could. It wasn't the best, which obviously made me not play as much in the starting lineup for the 18s. And then in my second year, I got pushed forward to left wing. Started the season very well, I think, and then I don't know what happened with me. I just started
just tailed off.
I just started to I don't know. But yeah, started season well, and then slowly started to fall out of the team, and then I just decided to go to America instead of trying to pursue my career in England and get a pro. So
I feel like it's a very common theme among young black players where they're pushed around in terms of position. They never really a lot of the time they're not really given the chance to shine in their own position. They're shunning out to positions where they're not even comfortable, but because maybe you're fast, as Daniel said, you're fast, or you've got a nice left foot, you're put into left back or right back or whatever. You feel like that's a common theme around football, especially for young players.
It's very common because it happened in my team a lot. There was wingers that were them being pushed back to left back and right back, and just because they're quick and can cross the ball.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was this was 4 or 5 years ago. At that time, the stereotypical striker was a hold-up striker, so big, physical, and my game as a striker was in behind and I'd finish it. But it was more you hold it up, lay off, and then let everyone else do everything. So that's why I kind of didn't fit in their plans to be a striker or to be the main striker. So I just kind of adapted my game to be out on the wing, but still kept the aspects of my finishing and being a striker.
Okay, so now that we're all caught up, now for both of you, this is where the American journey starts. So explain how that opportunity came about.
For me, it was a case of, so I didn't get my pro at Oldham. I was thinking, what can I do? Do I want to stay here? The Sweden opportunity came up where I think a few people were going out to Sweden to do a few months with a pro team or semi-pro team, and then see if they can, accommodation would have been taken care of and food and stuff, and then see if you can work your way into the Swedish top tier or whatever. But that didn't really appeal to me too much. It was interesting, but I was thinking, I've never been a dumb kid. It was never too tough for me to get good grades in school and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if football really doesn't work, what can I fall back on and let me have a degree in which I can use to apply for jobs in the future, if anything. So, the American move came about that way. I told my parents that I'd been thinking about it, and they were happy for me to go ahead. So I'd emailed a number of universities, obviously sent over my video clips. And then this coach in North Carolina just got back to me. He was a dickhead, by the way. And then
we're definitely gonna need to get into that.
He was.
Yeah,
we're gonna need to get into that.
One of the biggest dickhead I've ever come across. But yeah, so that came about, and I was happy to go to America. I wasn't too sure on the university because I was thinking I want to go to a bigger, better university, but I was thinking, is there time? Like, if I leave it another year, like, am I still gonna be in that same position? Am I gonna be wanting to still play football even, or am I gonna find something else within that time? And I was thinking, like, I might as well just take this jump now, give it a chance, and see, where it takes me. So decided to go out, and it was a decent little setup. But in terms of, like, just big universities, it wasn't it, and it didn't really give me that, that real platform to be like, yeah, I'm here, like, I'm about to state my name in the US and work to go to the MLS. Like, there was no chance of that happening, really. It was Division 2, like I said, and I kind of wish, like, I took more time in making that decision to go out to America, because I've kind of been warned, like, if you really want to go pro, then D1 is the way to go, and you want to be at a big school. But I didn't really get an offer from a big school, so I had to take what I had, and at that point, it was a decent scholarship to go over to the US. So I thought, let me take the chance and see where it takes me.
Okay, so this was at age 18, I'm assuming.
17, yeah.
17.
Yeah.
And that's at the University of California.
No, it was Len O'Ryan. It was a D2 university in North Carolina. Okay. So in Hickory, North Carolina. It was like either that or wait another 6 months or a year and try and go to a different university. But I was like, you know what? Let me just go and see what it is. But I think it's important for parents as well as the kids to know exactly what they're getting into before they do it. Because if I could go back now, like, I wouldn't have chose that university, and I would have waited a bit, because friends had done it. Like, I knew a guy who had waited a year after his scholar and gone out there. So there's really no rush with that. And I rushed it, but it is what it is. Like, I came out of my degree and I got an experience out of it. And overall, I kind of wanted to go for the experience,
Yeah. Daniel, so tell us about how you got, like, what led you to go to America to pursue football?
So, colleges were coming to our training ground to, like, speak to people. And I was, like, the least interested in that, because I wouldn't say I'm the smartest, but I'm not the dumbest. So I was like, I can't go to school and do all of that. But one of the Division 1 school came and spoke to my parents, and my dad was like, "Yeah, it's a good idea." So I just ran with it. I took all the tests, and I didn't get the right grades to go to the Division 1 school, which would have been a good setup for me to then go further after, if I wanted to.
So it was grades that stopped you from going to, it was actually grades and not the football that stopped you from going to the D1 school?
Yeah, because I had to get a certain score on the SAT test, and I think I got like maybe 10 points off, which stopped me from going. And then after that, there was D2 schools that were coming and offering me whatever. Had people come to my house. And then I ended up going to North Rhine, where I met EMIL, and that didn't work out for me, because like EMIL said, the coach was not the best. And
tell me about the coach. What was wrong with the coach?
Oh, he was awful. He was like, he was so stuck in his ways. He was an English guy as well, so but he was still stuck in his ways of, like, he had the old team and didn't want to play anyone new. Like, there was no way anyone new was getting in the squad, and the squad wasn't even good before. So we'd come from England, and that meant nothing to him. He was still stuck on, these people are playing, and then maybe these lot will get minutes in the end.
Yeah.
Like, it was shocking. But after that year, I was only there for a year, and the adjustment from going from playing football every day, college once a week, to school every day and training every day was tough for me.
Mm.
So like my grades weren't up to scratch, and I wasn't going to class. Like it was just hard for me to kind of change and be a student first and then a athlete second.
Yeah.
So then I got kicked out of that school. They took away my scholarship, and then I went to an AIA school in Tennessee called Cumberland University for my last 3 years, which was amazing for me, I think.
I'm still playing at Tennessee, still playing football at Tennessee.
Yeah, I was still playing at Tennessee. It was a better program. They won conference championships where you get the ring if you don't know. So I got myself a ring there. And,
You have the ring with you?
What, you want to see it?
Yeah, man. To see that ass. Gee.
Hey, hold up, because
oh shit. Yeah, we're putting this up.
My thing in the
hey, we're all putting the silver on this. Hey, where's my ring? Cuz where's 1 minute. That's crazy. Wait, so you got the ring from Tennessee. Where did you get the ring from?
From Lenore Ryan again, but in my last year. So my last year we won the conference, which was good. But it was for me, like Dan said, his last 3 years were amazing. For me, it was like my third year was great. My last year was up and down.
This is a four-year program.
Yeah, 4-year program. My first and second year were terrible. So, yeah, I can dive into that later if you want to dive into that.
No, let's dive into it now. Like, what made tell me about the whole 4-year journey.
Yeah, so my first 2 years, so I went to America off the back of my bad knee injury, and I just didn't have the rhythm really. I didn't really have the confidence. I didn't really have that feel of, playing with confidence on the pitch, and I was kind of in my shell. So those first 2 years, I didn't really play that much. I was playing on the wing when I'd come on and playing just like for short periods of the game, and play just like learn or like take when someone needs a rest, I come in. I felt like a dickhead. So
no
first 2
rhythm.
years, no rhythm, man. First 2 years was horrible, and then third year, I was like, nah, fuck this shit. Like, I need to come and actually do, what I came here to do, and like, don't be afraid of like treading on anyone's toes or like I just came back over to America because I'd come home for like summer, and then I went over back to America with more confidence, and I started playing right back. So the whole spring before that, I was playing at right back in training and like friendly games, playing at right back, and I got a feel of right back and what was needed in that position. So I was playing with a lot more aggression, playing with a lot more confidence, and then I had a really good season in my third year. And yeah, we did well that year. We finished second, and I think that was like the highest that we'd finished in a long time. We finished second in the season, and then we made it to the nationals, but we didn't go too far. And then also I think conference tournament we did quite well as well. But it was my last year that we actually won. We won the ring. But like for me, it was just the up and down journey all the time. Like in that second year, I thought I was going to transfer. I was trying to talk to Dan actually to try and go over to his university because, first year hated the coach. Second year, the assistant coach became the head coach, but I was still kind of out of favor and wasn't really playing with confidence.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, if I can go somewhere else and find my rhythm, then that will probably be best for me. So I talked to my parents and was like, can we try and find something else? And in order to do that, you kind of need to pay an agency and work things out that way, and they have to try and help you find a new school. So things with that just didn't really come to fruition. So decided that I was going to stay, firm it, And with these times, like, I was dealt quite a lot of adversity. So, like, you know, I was living on campus, and in my third year, I had to move off campus. And bro, like, when I tell you, there was a time when I became really sad. Like, I'd been dealt these cards, and I was like, why me? Like, but these times, like, all my grades were fine. So I was thinking, like, if anything has come out of this, at least I've got my degree and I've done well. Maybe just football isn't my thing. Like, I need to just let it go. But at some point, I decided, you know what? Like, you came here for football mainly. Like, you need to, like, just do something. Like, have confidence again. Like, play with passion. Play with like the free spirit that you used to have when you was younger. Because this, like, football, sometimes we complicate it. And I'm like, you don't need to overcomplicate things. Like, think about when you was younger, playing with, like, no worries, like, just playing with full confidence and just doing your thing on the pitch, like, laughing and joking with your friends. Like, you can do that now. There's nothing that stops you now. It's just that in your mind, you complicate things so much.
You add more pressure in your mind as you grow older with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, bare pressure in my head. So I was thinking, nah, I need to let all of that go. So eventually kind of let that go. And then, like I said, third and fourth year was a lot better. After my fourth year, after my final year, I went to Greenville to play summer league. But injuries, man, I hurt my hamstring, and I had multiple hamstring injuries throughout the season, which held me back. But yeah,
that's why the fourth season was a bit up and down.
Yeah. So yeah, in my last year, it was hamstring injury. So I started off the season really well. I was like preseason, first team on conference. So that's like, you're predicted to do well throughout the season. You're like seen as like one of the best players in your conference, basically. But you know, I went halfway through the season, and I pulled my hamstring. And the season is so short. So how many games did Dan play? Like, what, 12 or 13 games? Normal season.
So it's like 18, maybe. Depends on how well the season is. It could be short. It could be like 15 games.
18 is like the longest the season could be.
It could be like 20, 25 if you go all the way to the end of, like, nationals. But if you play the season and then conference tournament comes and you lose in the first game, then that's it. Like, that's what, like 12, 13 games, and then your season's done.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time I'd done like 4 or 5 games, and then I pulled my hamstring, and you're thinking, like, you're out for at least maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So you're going to miss at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 games. So I was like, nah, like, I've got to play on with it. It's my last year. And then, I tried to play through it. Can you imagine playing through it with a pulled hamstring?
Yeah.
And if your hamstring's not right, then it limits
basically
you so
all
much.
your game.
Exactly. So restricted me so much. And my game's like, you know, aggressive, like fast, like everything, intensity, high intensity. And I couldn't really do the things that I wanted to do. So that just restricted me so much. And by, I think it was like the 8th or 9th game, bro, I just had to sit out like quite a few of the last games, and it wasn't right, man. Nothing was right for that final year. You
didn't feel like you ended your time in America how you wanted to end it?
Nah, man, not at all, bro.
Daniel, speak to us a little. So you won the championship in your final year?
No, my third year.
Third year
we won it.
Yeah, speak to me about that experience. What was it like?
It was amazing, but that year I hurt my ankle. I hurt my ankle that year of a skateboarding incident.
You hurt skateboarding? Yeah.
Well, I was Tony
imagine
Hawk,
your coach weren't happy about that one.
I tried to jump off a curb and my ankle just snapped. But this was like halfway through the season. I missed like a few games. We were going on a good run. I was just scoring bare goals, and then the tournament comes, and like when the tournament comes, it's like a whole different mode. So like I'm like it's time. My ankle's not 100%, but I don't care. Just paracetamol it up and it's just, yeah. And then so the tournament comes. First game we won. I think it was like 3-0, 4-0. Scored 2, and then the semi-final we won 2-0. I scored 2, and then the final it was 1-1. No, it was 1-0. Then like 80th minute we get someone sent off. Then last 10 we score again. Then it goes into overtime. Second overtime comes, and then I'm through 1-on-1. I just poke it round the keeper and just run off. I just run off like we've done it.
Man's ankle was probably hurting him, but the adrenaline was carrying him.
It was mad, and then everyone's taking their top off. Everyone's crying, like everyone's running. Oh, it was amazing. And then
crazy.
We and then we went to nationals, opening round. The biggest crowd that we had, that was that day. Everyone was there making noise, and then we lost last minute. And like it went from I had a shot and it was a terrible shot and went out for a goal kick. Then from that goal kick they went and scored, and it was just like the worst
crushing.
The worst ending to a perfect season. But ended with 18 goals and first team all conference. Football player of the year, but first team all conference. So that was a good season for me and everyone else involved. So
you two both spoken to me about the injuries that you accrued during your years in America. In like American student athlete culture, there's a idea that like you still have, like, even when you're injured, you just power through. You take whatever drugs you need to take to get through it.
Yeah.
Is that really a culture that's out there for in football as well?
Big culture, bro.
In every sport, I think, because your season is like a semester. You never only basketball and I think baseball, they go from fall to spring semester, so they have a longer season. But everyone else is just either fall or spring crammed into like three months of a season. So no one really wants to miss the whole season because they have a small injury or even a big one.
Yeah.
So I think people fight through it because they just don't want to miss out. And say if it's in the middle of your season, you can't redshirt. Redshirt is when you like medically withdraw yourself so you can then add on another year of playing. So no one, if you're in the middle of the season, you played 5 games, you're not eligible for a red shirt. So everyone just goes through it, I think.
Yeah, it holds you back, man. Like that. And the thing is, like, a lot of the physios feel like they should continually put pressure on you to be willing to play. Like,
serious.
Yeah, they're not serious. Like, obviously, if I'm injured, I'm honestly injured. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I'm injured, when really I could power through it and I could do more than I'm doing. Like, if I'm seriously hurt, like, I'm gonna step out. And they think that, you know, especially with football as well, I feel like they think we maximize our injuries, so we make it seem like it's more than it actually is.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that pissed me off over there. Is like, I remember there was one guy who had like a torn meniscus, and like the physio was saying like, nah, you're good, like you can play for the rest of the season. When it came to the end of the season, he did a scan and it found out that it had a torn meniscus, and that takes like 4 weeks after an operation, or I think like 2 months actually after an operation to heal properly. So like, these guys are telling you like, oh, you're good to go, like push through it and like take these meds, or like, and it's like, bro, like I'm actually hurt, like I need to not play, like that's what I need.
I think back to go through.
For me, it was like at my school, the second school I went to, most of the physios were students. So they were like either grad students or they were currently doing that that degree. So it's not like they know everything. They know how to do it. They're still learning. So it's not the best for athletes to like their health. Like, it's not best for the athlete's health, because if a student that's your age or like a couple of years older than you is telling you what to do when it comes to a serious injury, it's not professional at all. That's why I think loads of people have injury, never actually get over with. That never get over because of the lack of knowledge, I think.
Yeah, definitely. If you need a proper doctor to take care of you in them sort of situations, and if you're just given a student athlete or a student physio, sometimes they don't deal with the problem properly, and that can linger on for the rest of your life.
Facts.
That ankle, the skateboard injury that I had, the ankle, that bothered me for years afterwards, and they wouldn't take me for a scan. Even going to the hospital or something was a big problem for them for some reason. They wouldn't just send you, say, oh yeah, get a scan just to be safe. They'd rather read a book and say, yeah, this is it, when they actually don't really know. It was mad to me.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Just quickly touching on living in America and being a student athlete while in America. Tell me about what the culture was. So you told me it was skateboarding. You was telling me that you went into some deeper stuff, saying you got kicked off of campus. What was it like living in America?
For me, I say like the first 2 years, it was interesting to adjust to the American culture like fully, because obviously you're so used to, living in England all your life, like you don't realize, what it's like to really live. Like you've been to America maybe on holidays before, but it's not the same as living there. So you realize, and where I was like, Hickory, there's not a lot of public transport. If you need to go anywhere, like you need to ask a friend for a ride, things like that. Those little inconveniences and shit. But there are like a lot of things which attract you to living in America. Obviously, like the fast food, very different fast foods. Chick-fil-A that you enjoy as soon as you touch there. Chipotle, I liked a lot. So there's very different options that you can have to eat and stuff. But it's important, obviously, to not get hooked up on that, because a lot of people can lose their athletic capabilities due to just eating in all of these places. But I liked it. Like I liked the freeness. I liked, being. And when I was at Oldham doing my school, I didn't live in Diggs, so this was like my first time like away from home, like fully. And like, yeah, I feel like it was good for me to get that experience of adulting and being an adult, like without leaning on my parents for this or for that. I'd always been like kind of independent, like doing my own shit, but like in terms of, just having to fully take care of yourself, like
experience,
getting, like looking after your finances more, shit like that. But you realize, like, when you're at uni and stuff, there's a lot of things which aren't important, which they think aren't important, which we over here find important. So like, I remember like me and Dan in our first year, we realized like people go to class in like their slippers and their pajamas, and like we were not used to that, because you're thinking like, why do these people look like this? Like some of these people look like they just got out of bed, and then we were like into our drip and like dressing well, but they weren't really on that. But it was nice. It was a good like little transition, I think.
What about you, Daniel?
It was a mad culture shock for me, especially growing up in London, like big city. You can go wherever, do whatever. And when I went to North Carolina the first year, it was like I couldn't go anywhere personally, because like I'm not gonna ask people to take me here. Like if I need to go shopping, I'm not gonna ask people, take me here, please. And it's a mad inconvenience for them to go out their way to help me. So I was like, I just stuck to myself really. But then it's like Americans were like really narrow-minded. Like the questions that we were getting when we moved there, like, oh, is there ketchup in England? Is there like, do they have peas in? Like, it's just dumb questions. You remember that?
Yeah.
That says there ketchup in England, fam.
Is there ketchup in England? And I was like, what are you talking about?
Very true.
But but yeah, it's a complete shock. People go in class in pajamas, and then they'll go to the club wearing the maddest boot cuts, and it's the it was so different. But then when I moved school, I was off campus in my own house. Not in my own house, but like all of us had a house. So that was better. All foreigners as well. So English, Irish, and then like a couple of Americans. So that was a better experience for me. But I still tried to keep the like London in me, the English in me, while trying to adapt to the American life. So like I never changed the way I talked. People couldn't understand me, but I had to slow down a little bit. Like if I'm saying my name, I said like, they'd be like, "Oh, what's your name?" I'm like, "Daniel." They'd be like, "What?"
Daniel?
Like what? So I had to let everyone. Yeah, and they couldn't understand the way I was saying my name. So then everyone started calling me Danny when I went to my other school. But yeah, it's a big difference, and it's hard to go from living there by myself, doing everything on my own, to coming back home and then being back in like a routine of I have to check with my parents if I can leave my house, or if I can do that when I'm coming home and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so both of you've now graduated university. You're back in England. What happens next? What was next on the cards?
For me, I kind of wanted to stay out in America and work. So I'd applied for the OPT, which was like it enables you to work in a job which is in the same field as what you studied. And then if you do well in that job, they could extend your visa, and you could, stay for a longer time. But I decided I was staying with my uncle at the time, and it was mad inconvenient because I'm staying there, like I'm not able to work, waiting for this OPT to come through. Like that's the document that you need in order to actually get the work. And then like I couldn't really do any coaching either, because wherever I wanted to coach, these guys were like, "Oh no, like you've not got documents to work, so we're not gonna employ you or pay you under the table." So I was like, "Oh, right, I better just come back to England and actually work where I can work." So I decided I was gonna get a job. I applied for like a number of positions, and then I got this one in London in media. So I work for a media agency right now. But it was never like this is going to be the be all or end all. I kind of took like a space to just get away from football because I'd had so much like pain from it. And like in my third year, it was different because it was like all the pain that I'd felt from those first 2 years, I could channel it towards playing and like use all that pain to play well again. But now it was like it's too much pain. Like I just need to get away from the game, and like it's hurt me in so many different ways. Like coaches have put me over, like just not loving the game anymore because of injuries and playing through pain. And I'm just like, right, I need to just get away from that. So I think that was good for me to realize that, because I could have just kept on pushing for, and maybe I don't know, maybe something could have come of it. But I feel like I just at that time I needed to break away from football. So been working now for the past like 6-7 months, and it's been all right. But I want to get back into playing again, and so I moved to London. That's where I'm working. But obviously for this lockdown, I'm in Manchester. But when I move back to London, I want to get back into ball and find a team, lower league team, and just enjoy it again. Because like, bro, there's nothing that brings you more joy than football, especially when you've been playing your whole life and you love like just touching the ball and feeling the ball at your feet and playing with your friends and having banter with the lads. Like there's nothing that comes nicer than that. So I'm just trying to get back into that eventually.
There's months that you took away from football. Sometimes that's all you need to clear your head, get your mindset right. So there's nothing wrong with that. Daniel, what about you?
So for me, it was a bit of a easy decision for me to come home, because everyone thinks when you go to America, the next step is MLS, but it's not that easy. So like, if you're not at the top school, you're not going MLS. There's no chance. But for me, in my last year, I got invited to a combine in the second division in America, the USL, and that was just like, that was shambolic. Like, there was like 100 plus people that have been invited, and you just all play. You play a couple matches and that's it. But like, how can you get anything out of that if you've never played with these people? And you know, in them type of situations, like, everyone is trying to impress, so you're not getting the ball.
Yeah.
Like, the midfielders are gonna run and try dribble everyone and score. The strikers are laying it off for you to shoot. So it was a shit.
It wasn't really worthwhile.
It was a waste of time. Like, I changed my flight to come home that Christmas because I was going to that trial. I could have been at home chilling. But, nothing came of that. And then I went back for my final semester, and like, I was behind on a couple classes for me to graduate, and it was either stay there for like a semester, and then not go home for another year, not play football as well, because my 4 years were done. Not play football, so I was like, nah, I'm going home. Even though all my friends at the time were staying in America, they were doing whatever they could to stay, which a lot of them are there doing well, but they're not playing football anymore. My passion and the reason I went there is to play football and get an education. So came home. I just finished up my degree online, which was tough.
Congrats.
And then I worked in Foot Locker. I worked in Foot Locker in Oxford Street for a bit. And then I was playing non-league as well. So then I came home, went to trials, playing non-league, working in retail, which is mad, regardless of what you're doing. So playing non-league, working in retail, and finishing off my degree online. So the schedule was mad. So then I just left Foot Locker, focused on the rest of my studies and then football. And yeah, right now the season was going well, but Rona fucked it up. Yeah, I can't wait to be back.
100%. So what's next on your journey?
So I'm at non-league club, Tooting and Mitcham at the moment, which is a good setup.
Down the road from you.
Which is a good setup, and hopefully they get a lot of players to the pro level. I'm a bit older now, so it's going to be a bit harder, but I'm still working. Got to work to get somewhere. So yeah, got myself a little agent kind of thing to help me along the process, and then yeah, hopefully this season goes, or the next season goes as well as last season did, and something comes of it.
Wish you all the best with it, man. Wes, thank you very much for joining us on the Final Third today. Been very great speaking to you. Learn a lot from you today.